You need to be able to realize that you're not going to ever win with something.
One comment, anybody in the city that the Kiwanis comes, right?
Yeah.
I want to know this, I want to know that.
Let's call the meeting to order. Are there any special intentions? Wait, what? Do you have any special intentions? My birthday is not a special intention. Okay, moving on. Moving on, let's stand and invite Pastor Chris Buckle from the Church of the King to lead us in the prayer.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the opportunity to convene, and thank you for the skills of all the leaders here today and for the city of Kenner and the honor to serve here. We just pray that you would be with us during this meeting and that you would bless us and keep us, that your face would shine upon us, that you would be gracious to us and give us peace. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Councilmember Brannigan, will you please lead us in the pledge?
Madam Chairman, you have a quorum. In accordance with Council Resolution Number B14550, please be advised that all cellular telephones and other devices of this nature must be deactivated or silenced throughout the council meeting. We have correspondence, reports from the mayor, CAO, or department heads.
Mayor Glazer.
Thank you. I'll start out first by saying I'm happy to be in this building. So we're kind of slowly moving back into government-owned buildings. So this is a big step for us. Next, I'd like to introduce our new cultural coordinator, Ms. Valeria Kawas, who's standing over there. She was an on-camera anchor for Telemundo News, so she brings a lot of talent to the mayor's office. Building C update, the old police building. You can see 15E today is for elevators, to replace the elevator that hasn't worked in several years. And also the city attorney's office, I visited them this morning and they were moving in. So they're out of the Macy's building. Yes. So the Department of Motor Vehicles, the Rivertown branch is ready. They're waiting for their IT people to hook up their driver's license machine, then they'll be open for business. So they're ready to go. The exhibition hall update, which is where we're moving clerk of court and the courtroom. The carpet squares that we've ordered are in the building, but they have to be acclimated for a few days before they install them. So hopefully you'll get some notice that they'll be moving out in the next 2 weeks. So people may be yelling at me about that, but 2 weeks, we'll push them. The West Loyola Joe Yenny Bridge that is being constructed, the anticipated completion date now is October 14th. They had several setbacks due to rain days, and the canal level rose and kind of slowed to stop the construction. And also, like I told you, when I sign a contract, it doesn't have to come before this council. I'll let you know. I spoke a little bit about it, I think, last meeting. I signed $49,000 contract with Compliance Enviro Systems, LLC, to provide sanitary sewer evaluations service. which is their vacuum trucks. So it's a 6-month contract just to get us through this hurricane season, should we lose power and need these trucks to clean out lift stations. And with that said, I'm done.
Thank you, Mayor Glazer. Anyone, any comments? I just want to say that thank you for all of your hard work getting us back into government buildings, and I'm very excited to be here. It's beautiful, and I remember the last time we were here, I had the last meeting, and I'm so happy we're in a better place, literally and figuratively. Yes. Councilman Dunn?
It is open. It's open for free play, I think, 3 nights a week now. So yes, we're slowly moving with the gyms, but that one is open.
Great, thanks.
Do we have any resolutions, motions, or other items from the floor? Seeing none, the consent agenda is item 1, approval of minutes, the regular council meeting of August 19, 2022. Item 2 is approval of alcoholic beverage permit applications. Item 2A is a resolution granting an alcoholic beverage permit to Kenner Discovery Health Sciences Foundation on October 29, 2022 at 3837 Loyola Drive in Kenner, Louisiana. Item 3 is approval of bingo and public gathering applications. Item 3A is application number 2287-22, Vita Soccer Club Incorporated, to hold a public gathering on September 4, 2022, from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. for the purpose of a soccer tournament party at Arqueta Restaurant at 2001 Williams Boulevard in Kenner, Louisiana. That will conclude the consent agenda.
Motion by Councilmember Wilmot and seconded by Councilmember Brennan. Councilmembers, please vote.
Councilman McKinney?
Yay.
Wilmot?
Yay.
Dunn? Schwartz?
Yes.
Lahat?
Yay.
Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Under the public appearance agenda, we have item 8, public hearings for final passage. We have none. Item 9 is ordinances for the sale, purchase, transfer, lease, and/or alienation of immovable property. Item 9A is a resolution ratifying the lease agreement with NOLA Airport Parking, LLC, for the use of a portion of the Veterans Memorial Boulevard right-of-way in accordance with ordinance number 10,599.
It's a motion by Councilmember McKinney, seconded by Councilmember Dunn, to approve. Councilmembers, please vote unless we have any comments. Yes. Councilmember Wilmot.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd just like to have somebody explain it for the record.
Mayor Zahn? Oh my gosh, Mayor Glazer. It was a flashback moment there.
This is a ordinance that was put in place several years ago for the business owner to lease kind of the roadway in front of their business for parking, and it's up and down Veterans, pretty much from Roosevelt all the way to the parish line. And this is just a business wanting to lease the unused portion of the right-of-way in front of their business.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, Councilmember Dunn.
Yeah, it's dedicated to funding right-of-way lease program and corridor enhancement on veterans. So yes, you're trying to steal the money, I know.
Seeing no other questions, council members, please vote.
Councilman Wilmot?
Yay.
Dunn? Schwartz?
Yes.
Lahat?
Yay.
Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none. Item 11 is reclassification of zoning for final passage. Item 11A is a public hearing regarding summary ordinance number 13,047, an ordinance amending ordinance number 11,062, adopted by the City of Kenner on March 17, 2016, entitled Unified Development Code of the City of Kenner, more particularly amending and rezoning a 65,512 square foot section of the unimproved 23rd Street right-of-way, formerly Charlotte Avenue, bordering squares 87, 88, 89, and 90, Bainbridge Office and Industrial Park Subdivision to HI Heavy Industrial, and directing, authorizing, and empowering the planning director for the City of Kenner to alter and amend the official zoning map of the City of Kenner.
It's a motion by Councilmember Lahat, seconded by Councilmember Brannigan, to open the public hearing. Councilmembers, please vote.
Councilman Dunn? Yes. Schwartz?
Yes.
Lahat?
Yay.
Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yay.
Wilmot?
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. We're now in a public hearing. I believe the planning director has a presentation.
One second while he gets together. The property owner in this case is JEB Investment Group LLC, 823 24th Street, Kenner, Louisiana, 70062. This is a privately owned former street right-of-way. Originally, this property was used as part of a settlement. Some of you may have remembered the Robco settlement from years ago. We gave the property to Robco, addition some other properties in exchange as part of the settlement agreement. At that point, the property, obviously as a right-of-way, had not been zoned, so it took on the zoning of the surrounding property. There was a small part of the settlement that was not included in the property agreement that I could find, right as it bordered the airport. And so essentially this property, when it was given away, took on the zoning of the surrounding properties, mostly heavy industrial. This is really just a housekeeping effort, just to formally recognize the property as being zoned heavy industrial. All the properties around it that it touches are zoned heavy industrial, and then the airport is on the south side. So that's really all we're doing. It's just kind of a housekeeping so that we can formally recognize it on the zoning map as being heavy industrial. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Director Dufour. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, see anyone from the public? Okay, thank you. See none, motion by Councilmember Lahat, seconded by Councilmember Brannigan, to close the public hearing. Councilmembers, please vote.
Councilman Schwartz?
Yes.
Lahat?
Yes.
Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yes.
Wilmot?
Yay.
Dunn? Motion passes 7-0 to close your hearing.
Any comment, any questions by council members? Seeing none. Motion by Councilmember Lahat, seconded by Councilmember Brannigan. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Lahat?
Yes.
Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yay.
Wilmot?
Yay.
Dunn? Schwartz?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. We have none. Item 13 is resolutions and motions by council members. Item 13A is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute the waiver of land use/permitting form for temporary housing and shelter assistance in the city of Kenner.
We have a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. Council members, please vote. Unless you have any comments or questions. Nope, okay. Councilmember Wilmot.
This is related to 15A?
No, 13.
No, 13A. We're voting on 13A.
It's on the
Oh,
supplemental.
supplemental, okay. I waive.
Council members, please vote.
Councilman Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yay.
Wilmot?
Yay.
Dunn? Schwartz?
Yes.
Lahat?
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 14 is items removed from the consent agenda. We have none. Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A is summary ordinance number 13,055, an ordinance authorizing the utilization of state contract number 44000-22903 with ARCO Company Services Incorporated for the purchase of towable and stationary generators on an as-needed basis and an amount not to exceed $1 million annually for the Department of Field Services. Madam Chairman, we've received a request to remove this item.
Yes, thank you. Motion by Councilmember Schwartz, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot, to remove from the agenda. Councilmembers, please vote.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yay.
Wilmot?
Yay.
Dunn? Schwartz?
Yes.
Lahat?
Yay.
Brannigan?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15B is summary ordinance number 13,056. An ordinance approving the utilization of Jefferson Parish Contract Number 55-19858 with the Reynolds Company to provide electrical supplies on an as-needed basis in an amount not to exceed $200,000 annually for the Department of Field Services.
A motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember Dunn. Councilmembers, please vote.
Councilman McKinney?
Yay.
Wilmot?
Yay.
Dunn? Schwartz?
Yes.
Lahat?
Yay.
Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15C is summary ordinance number 13,057. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Beacon Air Conditioning, Heating, and Refrigeration Incorporated to furnish and install 2 4-ton air conditioning systems at the Council on Aging Building, 341 Compromise Street in Kenner, Louisiana, in accordance with letter bid number 22-2017, in the amount of $17,425 for the Department of General Services.
It's a motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember Brannigan. Any comments or questions? I do have a question. What's the status of this? Has this already been done, or is this wasn't this an emergency repair?
It wasn't an emergency repair, so we put it out for bid, so once it's accepted, we'll move forward.
Okay, perfect, thanks. Any other questions? Council members, please vote.
Councilman Wilmot?
Yay.
Dunn? Schwartz?
Yes.
Lahat?
Yay.
Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15D is summary ordinance number 13,058. An ordinance approving amendment number 2 to the agreement with Dom Development Corporation for the miscellaneous carpentry work, labor only, increasing the agreement amount by $150,000 for a new not-to-exceed amount of $300,000 for the Department of General Services.
Motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot. Any questions? Council members, please.
Madam Chairman, I believe someone's at the podium.
Oh, I apologize.
Al
Mr.
Morella,
Morello.
4260 East Loyola Drive, 50 years. I know we may never get to this cap, but the cap has been doubled. And I'd like to get an explanation why it went from 150 to 300,000. Thank you.
Ms. Herring?
I'll let Mark if he wants.
Yeah, the reason it's doubled is he's doing all the repairs for all the idle works, trying to get us out of Macy's in city facilities, repairing everything, and that's why we had to raise the cap, because he's repairing all our buildings, idle damage.
Thank you, Director. Thank you, Mr. Morello. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Dunn? Councilman Schwartz?
Yes.
Lahat?
Yay.
Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yes.
Wilmot?
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15E is summary ordinance number 13,059. An ordinance approving an agreement for the modernization of the elevator in Building C, 1801 Williams Boulevard, in accordance with RFP 22-6685 for the Department of General Services.
It's a motion by Councilmember Schwartz, seconded by Councilmember McKinney.
Madam Chairman, I have a request, please, to amend this item at this time to reflect TK Elevator Corporation in the amount of $117,939. If I could get a motion and a second on the amendment.
Move.
Motion by Councilmember Schwartz, seconded by Councilmember McKinney on the amendment. Any discussion on the amendment? Council members, please vote. Councilman Schwartz?
Yes.
Lahat?
Yay.
Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yes.
Wilmot?
Yay.
Dunn? Motion passes 7-0 to amend. Back to your original motion as called by the chairman. Motion by Councilmember Schwartz, seconded by Councilmember McKinney.
I do just, yeah, Councilmember Wilmot?
Thank you, Madam President. I'd just like to say that this is a long time coming, and thank goodness it's being done. That's all.
Yes, and I also wanted to comment that It would have been nicer for the legal department to move, I'm sure, with the elevator working. But I'm happy that this repair is getting done, and I can't believe that it's taken this long. So kudos to you, keep getting things moving. Councilmember Brannigan.
I just want to say I'm glad we're using this elevator company because they're using new parts versus reconditioned parts. And I think that's a big deal, fixing this thing since it's been out so long.
See no other comments. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Lahat?
Yes.
Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yay.
Wilmot?
Yay.
Dunn? Schwartz?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15F is summary ordinance number 13,060, an ordinance approving an agreement for the modernization of the elevator in the Kenner Police Department at 500 Veterans Boulevard in accordance with RFP 22-6686 for the Department of General Services.
It's a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. Any comments? Council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, I've also received a request to amend this item to reflect TK Elevator Corporation in the amount of $90,710.37. I have a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by McKinney, to amend. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, council members, please vote. Councilman Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yay.
Wilmot?
Yay.
Dunn? Schwartz?
Yes.
Lahat?
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0 to amend. Back to your original motion as amended. Any discussion? Council members, please vote. Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yay.
Wilmot?
Yay.
Dunn? Schwartz?
Yes.
Lahat?
Yes.
Brannigan?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15G is summary ordinance number 13,061, an ordinance approving an agreement to provide audit services in accordance with Section 2.28 of the City of Kenner Home Rule Charter.
Motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Schwartz.
Madam Chairman, I've also received a request to amend this item to reflect Duplanche, Ratman, Hogan, and Mayer LLP as the auditor. I have a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Schwartz on the amendment. Any discussion on the amendment? Council members, please vote. Councilman McKinney?
Yay.
Wilmot?
Yay.
Dunn? Schwartz?
Yes.
Lahat?
Yes.
Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0 for your amendment. Back to your original motion as amended. Councilman Brannigan has his hand up.
Oh, Councilman Brannigan.
Well, I just want to clear some things up because I've had a lot of people calling me about this audit contract. And the bottom line is that when you look at the numbers that came back from the 3 bids that we received, the current auditing company, Duplanche, came back with a 4-year total of $304,000 for 3,600 hours, which relates to an $84.44 per hour rate. And when you look at the other companies, and I have a friend of mine that's in one of the other companies, the P&N company came back at $163.74 an hour. Basically, they had lower hours and more cost. And then the other company, CNR, they were at $140.90. And I just think that with the position that the city is in right now, from a financial standpoint, we're going to be reopening the budget. I don't think it is prudent to increase costs at this time. The other thing that really stood out to me was if you compare all 3 companies, looking at the 3,600-hour total that our current vendor is doing, the cost difference for the P&N company is $285,464 more than what we were paying on the current deal for a 4-year period, and the CRI is $203,240 more. So it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me to go out and spend extra money. Duplanche's been around for a long time. They know the city of Kenner, and I just think that it's the wise choice from an economic standpoint, and we don't want to waste any taxpayer dollars. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman Brannigan. Anyone else? Okay, see none. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Wilmot?
Yay.
Dunn? Schwartz?
Yes.
Lahat?
Yay.
Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15H is a resolution approving an agreement with the State of Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development for Powell Boulevard median improvements, West Esplanade Avenue to Vintage Drive, State Project Number H.011779, Federal Aid Project Number H.011779, City of Kenner Project Number 2014-001B-CIP.
It's a motion by Councilmember Lahat, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. I believe Councilmember Lahat has comments.
Yes, absolutely. This is in my district on Power Boulevard. It's going to install a pedestrian bridge between Vintage, that Vintage Canal, and the existing walkway. Actually enlarge the walkway from 6 feet to 12 feet. Install lighting, benches, landscape improvements. And importantly, I want everyone to know here that this project was actually funded and approved back almost 4 years ago. And within 2 months, this administration, I just want to give credit here, has found this, something that's been sitting, that was never acted upon. And within 2 months, we have an entire development in my district, a $3 million highway fund, allocation from the Highway Fund, Department of Transportation Development, giving us this money on an 80-20 type match that Jose explained to me last night very, very much in detail. And it's very kudos to you guys for being here 2 months, finding this and pushing it through. It just a sign to me that the right people are here actually getting things done. I'm very excited about this because there's so many things going on in my district right now, and this is another one. So it's going to add some good things to my area, and that pedestrian bridge is much needed because the traffic right there snarls around Erlanger, and it's going to be a good safety thing to keep people from having to go over those bridges with the high-passing Powell Boulevard cars. So I'm very excited about this. Thank you to the administration for finding this, especially Jose for explaining to me last night. I look forward to assisting with this, and thank you again.
Sir, if you could state your name and your address, and you have 3 minutes.
My name is Ryan Nugent. We live at 5444 Erlanger and Kenner. I was very excited to learn about this DOT project from Councilman Lahat. These are precisely the kinds of moves we need to be making if we want to be enticing a new generation of families to call Kenner home. And I do want to thank everyone who's worked to secure this state and federal funding. That said, I do hope we learn from the successes and pitfalls of a very similar project that was executed just a few years ago and just a few yards away. I'm referring, of course, to the Erlanger walking trail. As residents of Erlanger ourselves, my family and I have benefited directly from this project. We've also had a greater opportunity than most to notice some of the problems. First, it was obvious to me and to the contractor who installed the trees that the person or firm who designed this project likely never actually visited the site or obtained an up-to-date survey. They called for trees in locations where other trees already existed, including under the canopies of several live oaks. Needless to say, all the trees planted in those locations died. Furthermore, the designers demonstrated a poor understanding of the South Louisiana climate in their selection of the tree species. The northern half of the 5500 block of Erlanger is almost devoid of trees because out of over a dozen savanna hollies that were planted in that block, only 4 remain, and in varying degrees of health. In total, I estimate that we've lost between 20 and 25% of the trees that were originally planted as part of this project. Worse is that 15 to 20% of the trees were lost during the first year, and we failed to hold the vendor to a contract which specified that they would replace any trees that did die within the first year. One thing that was done exceptionally well on this project was the lighting. I've spoken before this council previously on the topic of lighting. At the time, I mentioned that it's a subject that we as a city could stand to pay greater attention to since it impacts the attractiveness and quality of life of our entire community. As it pertains to the walking trails, I think we should seek to replicate what was done on Erlanger as closely as possible. The fixtures themselves are quite attractive, but more importantly, they are cut-off style fixtures. This is as opposed to the globe-style fixtures that have been installed in various locations along West Esplanade. The advantage of a cut-off style fixture is that it gets you light where you want it and not where you don't. For residents on Erlanger and Janus, this has meant that the walking trail is very well illuminated, but that we don't have to deal with a lot of unwanted light being cast through our windows. In the case of the Power Boulevard project, cutoff stall fixtures would offer the same benefits and help to reduce unwanted glare and roadway distraction. There are always wins and losses with any sort of project, but let's learn from what we've already done and let it inform what we do. Any questions?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Nugent. Any questions?
Ryan, yeah, you're a smart guy, and we have positions in Department of Planning, Kenner, open. If you want a job, I mean, I've enjoyed my conversations with you. I didn't know about the replacing the tree if it died contract. I'm going to definitely look into that.
It was many years ago. I think
So-
it's probably, that ship is probably sailed.
And I do love your idea on Adopt the Tree program, with like a civic association or families wanting to do that to take care of trees. We're going to check into that. I know other cities, municipalities do that, but thanks for emailing me everything. I do read everything, and I do appreciate it.
And we appreciate everything you guys are doing. Thank you very much.
Any other comments? Okay, council members, please vote.
Councilman Dunn? Yes. Schwartz?
Yes.
Lahat?
Yes.
Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yay.
Wilmot?
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 16 is ordinances and resolutions in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance authorizing the acquisition of a servitude upon Lot L1 Oakland Plantation for the purpose of rerouting a sewer gravity line. Item 16B is an ordinance approving supplemental number 2 to the agreement with the State of Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development, DOTD, dated January 18, 2017, for Williams Boulevard Corridor Improvements, LA Highway 49, West Metairie to I-10, State Project Number H.010570, Federal Aid Project Number H.010570, City of Kenner Project Number 2014-001F-CIP. Item 16C is an ordinance approving an agreement with MB3 Incorporated, doing business as Civics for professional services related to Hurricane Ida recovery, and an amount not to exceed $95,700. Item 16D is an ordinance approving an agreement with H&O Investments, LLC, to provide grass cutting services on an as-needed basis, and an amount not to exceed $49,500 for the Department of Field Services. Item 16E is an ordinance approving amendment number 1 to the agreement with Beacon Air Conditioning, Heating, and Refrigeration Incorporated to provide air conditioning, heating, and refrigeration services, labor only, increasing the not-to-exceed amount from $150,000 to a new not-to-exceed amount of $250,000 for the Department of General Services. Item 16F is an ordinance approving amendment number 3 to the Community Housing Development Organization, CHDO agreement between the City of Kenner and New Hope Community Development Corporation. Item 17 is reports from the council and our special committees.
Councilman Brannigan.
Oh, yes. When we were talking about the audit contract a few minutes ago, there's one thing that came to mind after. I've had a lot of constituents questioning why the audit did not catch a lot of the expenses that were spent for Ida recovery and things like that. I want everyone to understand that this audit is an audit of the budget, and the auditor receives the information in the month of October, and then they work on that budget and look at the different line items to make sure there are not large discrepancies in any line item. So they don't even know what the numbers are from last year to this year, but in October, and I'm not saying what date they're going to get it, it's sometime in October with everything that's going on, and then they provide a report back by December 31st. So I've had several people questioning, well, why are we keeping the same auditor when they didn't even look at or know that we had things going on, a lot of expenses, and technically it's not their fault. So I just want to make sure the public understands that the auditor will get the information in the month of October, hopefully, and then they do their report and report back to us by the end of the year. Just wanted to make sure everybody's clear on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Brannigan. Councilman Swarth?
Yeah, we're working together on this. I appreciate everything that my colleagues and I have put together. Mr. Mayor, Jose, Elizabeth, everybody. It's a working team right now, and we're getting things done. I'm so happy about the last 2 months. We've accomplished more in 2 months than I think the last administration did the last 4 years. Joey's been doing a fantastic job. Ms. Dew's been doing a fantastic job. I can't say enough about George and my, I'm going to say elder colleagues, but the professionals that's on to my right. But thank everybody, everyone. Chief Conley, I'm not going to leave you out either. But we're all doing a great job right now, and I'm fantastic right now. Thank you.
Councilmember Wilmot.
Thank you, Madam President. And I know this has been mentioned already early in the meeting by the mayor and other council members, but it really feels good to be back here. It really does. I mean, this is city-owned property. We're not paying rent to be here. This is fabulous. This is what it's all about. This is the way it should be. And of course, and reducing eventually and maybe even totally terminating any outgoing money for the Macy's building. I think that's the goal that the mayor's, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but that's my hope and dream, and I think that's happening. So I'd like to really reach out and thank the mayor, the administration, and I know Mr. Glorioso too for setting all this up, and I think this is going to be, it's going to really work out well. It's not perfect, but it works. So thank y'all.
Thank you, Councilmember Wilmot. And Councilmember Dunn?
Yeah, I just want to thank, especially in code, because, you know, it's been trying in District 1 with the rain and everything going up so much in grass and all of that. But I think this administration, because, you know, I had to get with them on some issues, and immediately they had taken care of it. And my constituents in the area, they're very pleased about that. We know that everything has not been done, but they are working. And within the last, we haven't been here 2 months. And there's just a lot of things that's going on, and they've been working. We're taking a lot of calls, and I know that we are constantly emailing every day. But they're happy that we are doing that and happy to put Kenner back together. The Susan Park Civic Association have had 2 meetings, and we are working diligently with them, and we will be working with the other associations as soon as possible. I just want them to know I don't have an office, but we will be in our office this month. I think it is around the 5th. And so with that being said, I will be meeting more with the constituents about things that's going on in my district. Thank you.
Councilman Brennan?
Thank you, Council Chair. Councilwoman Dunn made a comment about the homeowner association meetings, and we have a meeting scheduled for Thursday, the 15th of September at the City Park Pavilion. And we are inviting all the homeowner association board members for every association in the city. The idea is to get all those people together to, first off, meet their co-association board members and to discuss ideas going forward, things that may have worked in their neighborhood that might help another neighborhood with some ideas, and just some communication. The idea is to also push this, and maybe that's not the right word, but reinforce that this is all good for the city of Kenner. We're not just trying to do something for my neighborhood, your neighborhood, or the neighborhood across down the road. Try to build everything as the city of Kenner, and again, for the board members to share ideas and learn things that have worked in other neighborhood associations. So I think it'll be a really good event, and I'm hoping we get a nice turnout, and I hope it's positive going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Brennan. Councilmember Brannigan.
I have one more thing. I want to thank the administration and the Parkways Department for getting out. And, you know, in 2 months, if you drive through the city of Kenner, you'll notice that the city of Kenner is a lot cleaner than it was 2 months ago. It's not perfect. and it's going to take time to get it to where it's continually clean. In District 4, I've had some issues with Walgreens and CVS on Chateau and West Esplanade, and they don't like getting my phone calls that I send to them and tell them they need to clean their properties up, because I have constituents calling me wanting to know why these businesses are just letting everything go. The other thing that I've run into is a lot of businesses and some residents think that the curb is not their responsibility, and we have grass growing down onto the street. It is the responsibility of the homeowner, I would think, to clean the thing up. I mean, you want your property to look the best that it can look. So the city has taken a positive approach in making sure this city is clean. I want to thank the administration for that. But it's also up to the residents, too, to put your 2 cents in and make sure you keep your property clean, too. I've had a couple of apartment complexes that have let the grass grow on the West Esplanade. I had paid a little visit to them, and they said they're going to correct it. So we'll see over the next month or so where it goes, but I think that we're on the right track and we're moving in the right direction. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman Brannigan. I just want to comment and say that, make a comment actually about the council investigation. I got an update into the IDA expenses from last year, and I'm sure everyone knows that it's officially been a year from IDA. So I think we're finally moving in the right direction after 10 months of not moving in the right direction. So, and we're looking at those expenses, the administration, the CFO, everyone's working together to provide that information. So I appreciate that, and hopefully we will be getting more information on that status sooner rather than later. So, thank you.
Item 18 is new business. We have none. Item 19 is unfinished business under motions to reconsider or remove from a tabled position. We have none. Item 20 is persons wishing to address the council on special subject matters.
Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 50 years. I want to respond to some comments made at the last council meeting. The first response is for you, Councilwoman Dunn. I'm glad that my bringing the issue concerning that flyover to the council motivated you to have a sit-down with the folks that's involved in that project. But Councilwoman Dunn, you were misled, and you were lied to. Oh, yes, you were. Now, I'll tell you what I'll do with you. First of all, you had the truth, and you had the facts at your fingertips, but you believed what they told you. You also had a front page article on it on July the 30th, which I have in my pocket. I'll be glad to pass it to the council clerk, have her pass it to you, so you can read it to everyone in this room. Now, next response is for you, Councilman Swartz. I'm not yielding any time because I get shortchanged when I do that. Next is for you, Councilman Swartz. When you go after the truth, you don't stop until you get it. And when you stop short of the truth, you become part of the problem, not the solution. Right. Next response, Citizen Richard Brown. Is he in the audience? Okay. Mr. Brown, we all aware of what an emergency act is coming from the governor. We all know how it works. But let me say this. The administrative branch and the legislative branch are co-equal branches of our government. Now, both branches have a fiduciary responsibility to the taxpayers of this city. Now, Mr. Brown, you should know that because, after all, your group, Citizens for a Better County, isn't that what y'all supposed to be about? Now, I want to direct this to the finance department. Liz, I'd like you to identify the company that supplied those portalettes in the parking lot at the Macy's building. I'd like you to identify who that company was.
Mr. Morella, if you could finish all your questions, and then we'll have responses.
No. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's all I have.
Okay.
Now, anybody got any additional comments or questions for me before I leave this podium? She can answer whenever she wants.
Madam the Mayor.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I'll take it.
Yes, Mayor
The company
Glazer.
is DRC that had the trailer in question. My issue with this whole expense is these emergency contracts throughout probably the United States, definitely throughout Louisiana, are awful for the municipalities and parishes because they're expensive. Because when a storm comes through, you need this stuff immediately. The problem with this, it lasted 10 months. So it's normally a 1 or 2 month expense. So we needed to end it sooner than later, and just it lagging on for $800,000 was unacceptable. That's why we pulled the plug.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to know who was ripping us off. That's all. Once again, I express my appreciation of being in a building that we own as well. Anybody else? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Morella. Does anybody have any comments? Okay. Oh, yes, Councilmember Wilmot.
Yeah, and I always appreciate your comments, Mr. Morella, but I would like to say that Mr. Brown wasn't in the audience, and you had brought up an issue that he may be aware of, or he's not here to defend his position. It just would be in better judgment to bring those types of things up when the person is present. So, but thank you for your comments.
Thank you, Councilmember Wilmot.
Mr.
Yes,
Yeah,
Councilmember
let me,
D.
correct-
Are we done?
Yeah, let me, Madam President, let me correct Mr. Morello. You said in that meeting that we were going to be delaying that project. The project was never delayed. And I said that you misunderstood because I met with the person from the airport to explain that to me. So the article was misleading, or the way you read it, that you did not understand it. That airport has not, the flyover have not stopped any type of working on the airport. We are not behind on the flyover. And that's what's my comment.
Thank you, Councilmember Dunn. Mr. Nugent?
Ryan Nugent, 5444 Erlanger. There's an agenda item for next week's meeting that has to do with either an annual or semi-annual contract for mowing around the city. And there's one, I'm bringing this up because there's one particular area that I've been going back and forth the last 2 or 3 years with planning and zoning and code enforcement because it's a little bit of a no man's land. This is actually on Georgia Avenue. There's an unimproved portion of the easement between the end of Georgia and the Walgreens store. This is near Vintage and Williams. And so it's essentially behind that new O'Reilly Auto Parts that they built. One of the issues is, I don't recall if it was Councilman Wilmot or Brannigan mentioned the issue with certain property owners not maintaining to the curb. So we have a combined issue of that sort of going on with O'Reilly, but then the city is also not maintaining its portion of the easement. And so it kind of gets tossed into this, anytime I try to bring it to code enforcement or public works, it gets kind of tossed into this hot potato between the departments because nobody knows quite how to deal with it. So I was hoping for at least the portion that is the city-owned easement that we could get that formally included in the contract for annual mowing and maintenance.
Yeah, Ron, I know what you're talking about. There is an area back there the city didn't cut, and the grass got high. Stephanie King, who works for me, is not here right now. We did get it cut, but it is a persistent problem. I have problems, too, with other commercial lands, as George said, commercial owners letting grass grow into the street. And that's on Granada, going into Williams, and I went and sprayed grass kill down on it. I Branniganized it myself, a couple of weeks ago. And so I didn't edge it, but I think that it is an issue. I think there's some people who think that they don't have to edge the curbs and just cut the grass. And maybe we just need to, I don't know, maybe a Facebook post or something to help with that, but I do agree.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Councilman Hatt. Thank you, Mr. Nugent. Mr. Hotard. If you can approach and state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Matthew Hotard, 66 Red Oak Drive, Kenner, Louisiana. I'm also the president of the Kenner Firefighters Association. I'd like to use my 3 minutes to just give facts about what's going on with the fire department. This is not a complaint, and hopefully these discussions will lead to answers for not only the department, but for the citizens as well. Station 37, which is housed on 40th off of Williams, which is currently running 3 trucks that respond to calls. There was extensive damage done during Ida and remediation done. The inside was put back together, but we still have issues because the roof is leaking or there's leaks coming from where, which is causing more mold, which means that it's going to have to be redone, which is unfortunate. We have anywhere from 10 to 13 employees staying in that station at any given time. Station 38, or the trailer, which was where Station 38 was going to be, whether it be in the past or now, we were asked to help remove the skirting from the trailer. The trailer was supposed to be moved, and that was almost 3 weeks ago. We're not really sure what's happening. We haven't had direct contact or confirmation from Chief Morris. Our districts and assistants tell us bits and pieces, but truthfully, we don't know when we'll be getting out of there or getting back into there. That station is currently unmanned. So what that means is Station 38 has a truck that is responding from a station that is off of Williams, and the closest fire truck that can respond on Loyola is going to be on the north side on Vintage. So it does leave an area unmanned, but it is because the department is trying to move a better trailer because it is going to be long-term to that location and move that trailer out. We were told 3 days, then we were told a week and a half, and I think we're almost at 3 weeks now. Our equipment, engine 388, broke for the last time on Saturday, is now permanently out of service. Like I said before, last week, we do have 2 new trucks going in. We just hope that these 2 new trucks that come in are fully outfitted by the time we get them and put them back in service to make sure that we can give the citizens what they need and what we need to do our job. And lastly is manpower. We did lose 1 person today, but that was to retirement. Jude Kevin Dunn retired with 28 years of service to the city of Kenner. He is a son of Kenner. He was born and raised and was retiring in Kenner. So I'd like to tell him congratulations. I do know from speaking with a district chief that we are planning on putting a rookie class on, which is good. So however many employees we get from that will help us greatly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hotard. Any comments? Councilman Swarth?
Yes, sir. Chief, can you kind of help us out on this one? On the trailer situation and where we at and blah, 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 blah.
All right. The first issue with the trailer move, as you said, we, with the issues with Station 38, we plan to move the better trailer, switch them out, because they'll be there longer term than we anticipated them being there. I'd like to see them there. Ran into issues with the moving company, with different issues with the moving company to transfer the trailers out. And Chief Bergeron, the one that's handling that, is connecting with the trailer moving companies to make the move on the trailers. What was the other statement question you had, Matt? Right, okay.
Response time.
Yeah, well, that was part of that move, you know. Until we get it moved, you know, same situation we were in when we initially tore down original 38 from Loyola, and the truck wasn't there. But just for the record, there's parts of the city that's always without water, unprotected. Outside of that area, we only required to protect, to keep the class 1, have 90% of the city covered. So it's always some section of the city that's outside of our normal 510 response time. 1710 response time.
Yeah, I know it's playing the musical chairs. You got to move one out to move one in.
Right.
Where are you going to put this one? Where are you trying to move it in? Disconnect this one, disconnect that one.
Right.
Logistics problem is, to
Right,
say the very least
just some
here.
logistical things that happen, well, with the axles, basically. That the moving company that was supposed to move the trail out didn't have the right axles for it, the original company. And then the original company that pulled the trailer nose in, and the new company that was supposed to move it, that we contracted with to move it, didn't have the equipment to pull it back out with all the rain that we've been having and that field being sloshy and stuff like that. So we had to get the original company back in, and they are coming in, but it's the time and schedule with them to get the trailer moved.
any time frame about when you'll be able to get the trailers moved in? I know it's, the rain is out of your,
Right.
well,
And-
maybe
and, you know,
not, okay, but,
Well, I won't, don't let my secret out. Yeah, I'll let my cat out of the bag, but, it should be in the next week or so that they should be able to fit us and move the trailers, and then we have to just reconnect,
Right.
the two trailers.
okay. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right.
That is the conclusion of the audience. Does anyone in the audience want to speak? A motion to adjourn? Thank you.